So let's talk about the Pisces man. The biggest red flag around apparently, or is it factually? What you may or may not notice with every Pisces man is, there is something soft about him. Could be his eyes, his general look, regardless of his race, his voice, his aura, his whatever. There will be something soft about this guy. To the point, some Pisces men look like women. Some may look younger than their age, which adds to the softness. But even if they look older than their age, there'll still be something soft about this man. It's more an eternal look than youthful look. The Pisces man typically has dreamy eyes. The overall expression in the eyes will be dreamy, sleepy, because the soul is in a dreamy state. It's at the stage of potential spiritual completion, transcendence. But nightmares are dreams too, which you may witness in a Pisces man's eyes if they're tapped into that frequency. So where does this softness the Pisces male has come from? Well, Pisces the sign itself is a feminine sign. Pisces being a feminine and a negative sign means it's internally focused. Meditation, seeking inner peace, things like that. Each sign goes in order of masculine, feminine, starting off with Aries being masculine, the first sign and the most energetic, awake. Pisces is the final divine feminine sign that is half asleep, coming from the trading Taurus, the caring Cancer, the virgin Virgo, the scorned Scorpio, and the capitalizing Capricorn. Pisces is the last sequence in the feminine signs, and it's not only a conglomeration of the feminine signs, but the masculine signs too. Pisces is every sign in one. So instantly, as a Pisces human male, the first struggle every Pisces man will deal with is balancing the strong feminine Piscean energy with their human male body. Pisces is yin and yang. Pisces is male and female. Pisces is the spirit. So Pisces in spirit is technically genderless. But the human man, which is born and raised in a constructed society, will have to find balance because a man with feelings, wanting to just spread love, peace and harmony, is not seen as a real man. Those traits are seen as weak in a man and strong in a woman. The world or the humans or beings who run it are about war, conflicts and conquering. Those are masculine traits. A real man is seen as big, strong fighter, not a soft and gentle lover. So in Pisces as a man, they have all this feminine energy inside them, so it's almost impossible for there to not be something soft about them. But being shy and quiet may be cute around some females, but males and females will test them for that same thing. The good thing is, the Pisces soul has an understanding of life, an overstanding of life as a whole, including both gender roles, so they'll eventually be able to not change themselves, but rather alternate, adapt their personality depending on who they're around, but it takes work. Women are powerful. They hold a powerful energy. Pisces males will typically already be familiar with masculine energy. It's built in. So they may not be interested in it, if that makes sense. You know, like if your young son's a bit too crybaby-ish and you feel he needs to toughen up, so you may make him spend time around his dad or uncles or male cousins, you get the gist. Pisces men don't need none of that. You can actually do more damage than good, forcing the Pisces to be more masculine, especially if their dad or older male figures are cruel, like bully or tease him, playfully and or seriously. Pisces is the most fluid energy there is. It's highly adaptable. The most mutable energy there is. It's ancient, experienced energy. The old soul, but it's also free-willed. So the Pisces man will have to want to be masculine. It's not whether they are masculine or not. It's already built in. They've gone through all the masculine signs. But that feminine energy is built in too, with one sign left to master in Pisces. This is why being around women can be inspiring to Pisces men. And it's where you will mostly find Pisces men and their soft energy if they aren't isolating. Chatting to women, chatting up women. The Pisces man grows internally with understanding the other part of themselves through these interactions with women. In their most matured state, not only can Pisces males blend in with any group of men, they can also blend into female groups. Pisces will absorb and blend in with what is around. Already aware of masculine energy and harnessing feminine energy, The highest form of a Pisces man will appear genderless. They bridge the male and female energy where there is no clear separation. A Pisces man will end up showing you they understand women as if they were one themselves. But the things with this fishman is not all pretty like that. As you can see, there is two fishes representing Pisces, which is symbolic for so many things. The matured Pisces man can switch between the two, from passive to aggressive, from feminine to masculine, from evil to good, from the spiritual to the physical. It's what brings the duality of Pisces, and this is where deception comes in. When you come across a passive appearance of Piscean man. Pisces is the psyche. Pisces is about every psychic, psychotic, on psychedelics, into psychology. The parallels of Pisces is not to be mistaken. To switch between masculine to feminine energy is not going from strong to weak, soft to hard. It's going from strength to strength, just displaying the strengths in different ways. This gives you a man who can use feminine and masculine traits for the good and bad interchangeably. They can be the hero and the villain depending on the circumstance. Due to this somewhat hidden power, Pisces males become the most silent, the most observant, the most mysterious, and the most understanding, leading them to becoming the wisest of all. Moving in silence is a skill. Being silent about what you do and how you are is a skill that not everyone possesses. Being secretive is a skill. Being adaptable is a skill. Knowing when to talk and when to keep quiet is a skill. When I say Pisces are the most emotionally intelligent sign, this all ties into that because it's a blend of emotions and logic, male and female, stereotypically speaking. This makes the Pisces man great at being spies, hitmen, triggermen, assassins, naturally for their own people, but you will more likely see it involving money and or principle, or for nothing other than spreading pain. They can also do these acts recklessly without caring about being hidden. Let's not forget about that. The soft appearing Pisces men are vibes people, read the room people. Pisces males don't approach every Tom, Dick and Harry striking up conversation with everybody unless there's an agenda. So this automatically makes others curious or suspicious and will cause the talkers to talk, to get to know a Pisces male, to get a feeling from this man. But by others doing this, it ends up opening them up to the Pisces. If it's a male approaching the Pisces, Pisces will start off with masculine to adapt to the man, then slowly switch into feminine where the results will be the man talking about himself and his feelings to the Pisces. And it's the reverse effect if it's a woman. Pisces will start off soft and feminine, connecting like a female to a woman, placing focus on emotions and or gossip to appear friendly, then slowly adapt a masculine approach to either close themselves off or progress the situation from verbal to physical. These styles alone is how Pisces men will know a lot about many people from both sexes without sharing much about themselves. The reason Pisces males successfully have platonic relationships with both males and females as a standard is because they treat the two genders the same way in the grand scheme. It's a reflection of their inner self, and the Piscean energy can talk to a woman as if they're a guy, teasing them about something embarrassing they did, for example, not caring how cute they look. Ask a female about their Pisces male friend, if they have one, and they'll probably describe him as a clown, or something like that, like a joker, but he's sweet or friendly, something along those lines. The word clown or a reference to him being some sort of comedian. And on the flip side, Pisces males can talk to a guy as if they are a woman, having a deep talk where they get their guy friend into their feelings, talking about their love life and shit. It's a seamless transaction, communicating in a masculine or feminine way. But these interactions aren't meaningless, because Pisces males don't just talk for the sake of talking. They're comfortable with silence and being alone. So when they do talk, it builds genuine connections with others, because more times than not, it will involve emotions of others, negatives and positives, dealing with others' problems, giving out free therapy. This makes the Pisces man the backbones to many groups of people. Similar to Aquarius, but it's much less obvious in terms of the group dynamic thing. These men help so many people in their ocean, behind the scenes, money, therapy, opportunities. That is literally the reason why you'd have a Pisces man around. Not just because they're funny, weird, or you love them. It's because they give you free shit, if we keep it real, and don't expect it back. Pisces men bridge people together, even enemies. Pisces men can bridge enemies together if it's a resolvable issue. That's the good side. The baby-faced assassin makes so many killings under the quiet, and although they don't hold on to what they do for others, they're sure aware of what they do, so ungratefulness gets dealt with. This is why if someone falls out with a Pisces man, there's only so far they can go with like tarnishing his name, because the facts will remain that the Pisces man did a lot for them. So if you want to get technical about it, spiritually, you will still be in debt to the Pisces man, and you will know this deep down. When you understand how Pisces glides through and around people and life, none of this is surprising. This includes animals and kids too. You think it's only humans that have souls? Nah, the Pisces man connects with it all. Pisces men are great with girl and boy kids. They find it very easy to get down on their level and relate to them, which can be dangerous if utilised for wrong reasons, like what Richard Ramirez done with it. And John Wayne Gacy was a clown entertaining kids, on the light side. It's hard to pick up a Pisces man's energy in general unless it's directly loving or evil. If they're not in any of those modes, you won't detect the Pisces man's energy at all. Pisces men don't even have aura like that. They do, but they don't. What's the best word to describe a Pisces man's aura? Because it's a mixture of peace, charm, dreaminess, and evil and predatory on the darker side. It's a lot going on but can feel like nothing at the same time. Just feel like a dream. Pisces men's presence is naturally light, so that you can't actually feel or sense Pisces, this can play a part in a Pisces deception, because Pisces will provide an empty vessel for you to fill it in with your thoughts and perceptions of them, and the Pisces man can then play into what you think they are. This is what makes Pisces men great liars, if needs be, because they can make your perception your reality when it's not theirs. This is the benefits of all this soft energy when Pisces men accepts their femininity. If the Pisces man can confuse people about themselves but know who they are, then they are operating as a true Pisces, and this is dangerous for others. Looks soft as hell but is violent as hell. That's confusion. Got the softest voice but can say the most hurtful things? That's confusion. Secret assassin in their area but makes love songs in the studio? That's confusion. Act cold as hell but have the warmest heart? That's confusion. Look menacing as hell but is the kindest soul? That's confusion. Appear shy but are deep down confident? That's confusion. Illusion is a Pisces man's middle name, or womanizer, but confusion within the Pisces male has to be cleared before all this happens. And after saying all of this, there is one thing you must never do to a Pisces man, no matter how soft they appear, is make them feel feminine. Tell a Pisces man to be a man after you perceive him as just being feminine and watch him become a shark. Don't turn away, you might miss the transformation. This is what makes Pisces males the coldest water sign, the coldest and most dangerous sign overall, because they are the most feminine. They have and feel the most feelings. They genuinely can love the most. So take it for granted, take it for a weakness, and you'll meet the complete opposite. It's where the masculine and feminine energy will intertwine within that Pisces man and you won't know what's coming. Try boss up on a soft appearing Pisces male who is secretly in touch with their shark, with your macho masculine energy, whether you're actually male or female, and you'll see why Pisces is represented by two fish. Shark in the ocean of emotion. Now, most of what I said in the first section comes from a lot of internal work. It somewhat comes naturally, but still needs to be harnessed. The thing is, Pisces males do not readily accept the feminine traits how a Pisces woman would. So the Pisces man you'll likely be dealing with will be dealing with hidden emotions and insecurities. These hidden issues will always involve their femininity, trying to run from it, fight it, or understand it. Where the dark side of a Pisces male can come in even worse is when they don't accept that feminine energy. The Pisces sharks applies to both males and females, but Pisces males will be quicker to lean on the shark than display feminine traits like caring and loving everyone, depending on their environment and upbringing, which your moon sign will explain more on that. Especially if they're around too much masculine energy and harsh conditions. Their own feminine caring energy will be their enemy and the secret driving force for their dark side. The Pisces males have to accept it within themselves first to be able to express it. So this is where lots of confusion and inner conflicts happens within a Pisces man. Pisces males are one of the most elusive, hidden and silent signs you'll meet, and when they haven't accepted that feminine side, these men become even more hidden in the shadows. These Pisces males are more dangerous because they have a complex on the level of they know they have a soft side and do not like it, so they fight it by taking it out on others, and to show others and themselves they're not no bitch, basically. As I said, the quickest way to see the masculine side of a Pisces male, even with the ones who have accepted their feminine side, is to make a Pisces man feel feminine. An example, let's say it's a Pisces man and they're easy on the eye. Girls find him attractive, the honeys love him. Now that's all good when it comes to the girls. That softness is what is appealing to the women. But within that Pisces man, he may feel that same softness as a vulnerability around men. Like being a pretty boy in prison, that sort of feeling. So if this Pisces is still growing, trying to understand themselves spiritually, they will have some sort of secret complex about this softness. So say a guy, maybe a friend or whoever, like touches the Pisces male's face and says something like, "You're so cute." You know guys do shit like that to play around. The guy may be surprised when the Pisces male punches them dead in the face, where everyone's like, "What the fuck, you weren't that serious." As always, yes, this sounds extreme, I know, but that friend won't know the Pisces man could have a complex. So to everyone else, it just looks like the Pisces man is sensitive over nothing, can't take a joke. They won't get as far as thinking he's insecure about his soft features, cause to them, it will appear like that's a strength. You're good looking, you get women, what's the problem? Do you get what I'm trying to say? But to the Pisces man, if there's truth in that joke, like that's what females say to him. Now a male is saying it taking the piss, you've basically touched a nerve and are edging closer to that inner feminine struggle you don't know he's battling with. And this is only physical softness I'm talking. This makes for a dangerous person because you could be pressing buttons you didn't even know existed like that. Could be a new Pisces co-worker joining the workforce. You see his name and it's a tough Russian name, some Vladimir Kapushka or whatever. So you're thinking, "Hey fellas, we got some brute joining us, more firepower." Then this guy turns up. Yeah, he's Russian, but he's got these cute rosy cheeks. Your perception could change and even start teasing him. "Hey, your cheeks are cute, mate, let me pinch him. Hey look, he's like a Russian Steve Irwin." Then get headbutted in your nose bridge, shattering your whole orbital in pieces, cause that Russian blood and Piscean energy activated. Not knowing he's insecure about his Steve Irwin cheeks and actually couldn't give a fuck about that job. Pisces men don't have a chip on their shoulder. They have this loving, compassionate fish on their shoulder. It's like an insecurity that the Pisces man will eventually realize is a strength once matured, to where you have Pisces men like Floyd Mayweather with the nickname Pretty Boy. He turned that soft Piscean perception into proof. There ain't nothing pretty about him in the ring. Hit him if you can, with trigger words or actual punches, but he's gonna hit you and win. Another Pisces boxer was called Pretty Boy too, Ray Shaw. It sounds simple, like so what if you're a guy with feelings, but you see when the Pisces male is growing and then gets in touch with his shark, all this alone can make you meet some very violent Pisces men. Very violent. Don't take any of what I'm saying wrong. Even when fully in touch with their feminine side, Pisces men are solid. They aren't like some flamboyant guys or anything like that. Pisces men's masculinity in the end isn't fragile, it's agile, basically. But there are buttons that can be pushed with a Pisces man, where the Pisces loses control of being calm and hidden and gains control of being a demon. And testing his masculinity by highlighting his femininity is one of them, and it's a dangerous one. Pisces men do not like to be judged, let alone misread. So add in judging them with touching on a sore spot that needs working on, you get extreme. And if you haven't seen how moody a Pisces man can be and how bad their tempers actually are, it's probably for the best. A sensitive man with hidden deep emotions and hidden deep insecurities is a walking time bomb. This is the shark Pisces men, not the guppies who can be and stay victims. No self to even sacrifice. You can mark most of these issues down to the Venusian traits in Pisces. All three of the Venusian signs will have a natural level of attractiveness towards them, from both male and females. Taurus, Libra and Pisces. Could be looks, could be their style, could be just their energy, whatever. Either way, Venus is love and beauty. But both Taurus men and Libra men can argue like women, very well. But they're not just verbal, it's verbal before physical. Venus signs are as violent as the Mars signs, Aries, Scorpio and Capricorn. But Pisces will react the worst out of the Venus influenced signs for the fact Venus is exalted in the sign. So it gives Pisces that extra softness, that extra love inside. That it rules Taurus and Libra men is why they can more comfortably just go with it. Libra being the most comfortable because it's a masculine sign. So it's external, it's not deep. Pisces is the deepest sign. So deep inside Pisces, Venus cosmically colours Pisces pink, basically. And how does boys view the colour pink when growing up? That's a girl's colour. I mean, I'm old school, I know shit's changed these days regarding those things, but you get the point. It's the same effect with Pisces men in the terms of, why do I have so much feelings like I'm a girl? Why do I care so much? Shit ain't that deep. It's all about having deep feelings and being a man and accepting these feminine traits. It's where the confusion can slip in with Pisces. It's like a guy with a girl's name, that sort of thing. Pisces feelings in general is like having blood on your hands and not knowing where it's from. So mix that with this feminine issue the Pisces men have and you get shark teeth. So whether you are male or female, make a Pisces male feel feminine in whatever way and you'll see the complete opposite. They'll show you. The other two water sign men struggle the same way, but are both quicker to react aggressively than Pisces men in general, even when they both do not have that extra side of softness Pisces does. They're more selfish, where Pisces gives people a little bit more of a benefit, until they don't. Pisces males are the calmest of the three because they spend more time understanding it, eventually. But to understand it doesn't mean to accept it, so keep this in mind. This is why Pisces are known for being extreme when they act out. It's pent up energy, and it's always the calm ones. There has to be a healthy balance with Pisces cause if or when this feminine energy becomes a thorn in their side, this is where kids are born out of frustration, to where they can get annoyed for even having feelings and become ultra masculine towards other men to make them feel feminine too. It's a reflection of how they feel inside. Two of the most known serial killers, John Wayne Gacy and Richard Ramirez, were both participating in homosexual activity during their crimes with younger males. And I can't even fully explain the method to their madness. Maybe they were abused as children too. I think they both had daddy issues. Who knows, maybe their dads looked at them as soft and they, the Pisces men, knew that's how their dad viewed them. But this is how all that confusion and frustration can manifest. A domineering dad, aka big masculine energy, can bring out the demon in a Pisces man eventually. Plus they were both Pisces moons as well, so that makes sense if they had traumatic upbringings. Being a Pisces can be bad enough, but if it's got that extra dab of childhood trauma, new doors will open and can't no one avenge or direct a Pisces moon's pain like a Pisces sun. Or should I say unleash that tsunami inside. John Wayne Gacy did this to at least 33 young males. Randy Stephen Kraft's another example, up to 51 men and boys. And he had a Gemini moon. That's duality on top of duality. Joseph Duncan, he was holding boys at gunpoint from young and doing the unspeakable. So it's just examples of how all this can manifest with Pisces. Even from all I've said so far, You can see how a Pisces man can have a kind of troubled start in life. So if they've got additional placements that may potentially highlight it, then it's a further problem. At the same time though, this is not a typical Pisces male's experience, I must add, in regards to the homosexual acts. But in certain circumstances, it can veer off into extremes like that. Typically, a Pisces man can just do you in and leave it at that. The typical is they'll have an appetite to shark something. If the Pisces man is gay, then he's just a gay man. That's nothing to do with being a Pisces. A Pisces man can literally be the most girliest man you meet and not be gay. Then you've got the Pisces men who are openly gay and will also clap you like Joe Exotic. It's the Pisces energy regardless. But if a man is secretly gay alongside being a Pisces man fighting his feminine by overexerting his masculine, then that's even more dangerous. As just being a Pisces man hating that he's got feelings is enough for extremes. Feeling soft within themselves, so wanting others, especially males, to feel soft too. Or targeting females because they're supposedly soft, easy targets. And children, because they're helpless. This is when the shark can come out of that Pisces man and do some real unprovoked damage to anyone. To anyone. It's the same as a shark in the sea. It don't care who's swimming. Food is food. Pisces is about the psyche, remember? When negative or dark-sided, it's others' psyche that they attack alongside their own too. And with some Pisces, there's no limitations. Male, female, young or old, they're coming for your soul. You see how the 12th house, the Pisces house, rules isolated environments like prisons? Where is the place in this world, this reality, where you can be emasculated to your core? Where your willpower gets diminished? Where your ego gets dissolved? Doesn't matter how tough you are. Where your boundaries get fully crossed, where you can literally get turned into another man's woman. Prisons. Unless you're the bigger fish. This is all Pisces themes. So the Pisces males naturally learns how to maneuver out of these situations or directly fight against it or use it on a psychological and physical level, whether in actual prison or not. Feelings to the wrong Pisces man can turn him into a monster, especially if his world and his experience has been nothing but negative, where he had to suppress his natural good nature. Pisces men typically want to do good and be free to be loving, but the world shows them early, depending on their surroundings, that they can't, and that's where it stems from. Even if the Pisces man has grown up in good conditions, the world is not set up to be free and loving as a man in La La Land. Either become a wolf or get eaten by them. It's like an immediate conflict of interest Pisces men face in this world, so it's easier to turn to the dark side than light, and their soft emotions will be their driving force. Having empathy can easily breed a dark empath in a Pisces man. Being influenced by the hottest planet Venus can turn Pisces into the coldest men around. Having feelings can easily breed the most unemotional man you can ever meet in a Pisces. Cold to the core. And all they are really doing is projecting their insecurities and reflecting the harshness of the spiritual and material world. You cannot meet a darker person than a Pisces man running from his emotions. Running in the opposite direction to all the positive feminine Piscean traits. You hear words like self-undoing come up when describing Pisces and 12th house fiends. Then you look at Pisces men like Dennis Rader, BTK, John Wayne Gacy, Richard Ramirez. They were tying up. They were acting out the 12th house, confinement and loss to others. That's all coming from a losing battle within, or a giving in to their dark desires. And when you understand Pisces energy itself is both good and bad, yin and yang, for a Pisces man to express his pain and cause a tsunami, it's easily done. Easier than it should be. Worst thing is, these Pisces men don't even know that they become even more powerful when they accept their feminine side, whether they use it for good or bad. The good they can do, or the bad they can do, is literally unmatched when a Pisces man fully matures. It goes deeper than deep with Pisces. Pisces men are walking catfishes overall. You're scared to meet up with some random crush online when that Pisces man in your face who you've known for years, is actually more dangerous than that online stranger. They are true lone wolves, even when in a group. Depending on how the Pisces man carries himself, balancing these energies, more times than not, his feelings about everything will be suppressed. But he could easily release his frustration out in the world. A Pisces man can also be shy, timid, with low self-esteem. They don't even act on their masculine side and neglect their feminine side. They just exist. They don't activate nothing. These are the Pisces men that are pushovers, and for some reason has taken the forefront in describing your typical Pisces man. The Pisces man in his masculine, but denying his feminine, can still appear quiet and reserved, which can be mistaken for being timid and shy. Do you see where your perception can be skewed? Then the Pisces man in his masculine and feminine can resonate with everyone, and that's when you meet the chameleon, which is the most dangerous Pisces man overall. More dangerous than the Pisces man with a complex, because feelings can get put aside by that stage to become a marksman, a true assassin. All of this is why those who get into a relationship with a Pisces man is in for a ride, especially if they mistake his soft appearance or traits as weaknesses. They enter his ocean thinking he's a clownfish, not knowing a shark is following behind them both as the Pisces man takes you for a swim. In love with a clown. Pisces is the final mutable sign. All that adaptability, duality, mutating, transforming stuff comes from Pisces being not only a mutable sign, but a water sign. So Pisces is able to be as fluid as water in all areas of life. The mutable signs are like the jokers of the zodiac, if you want to put it that way. Gemini, Virgo, Sag, Pisces. These are like the pranksters and the mastermind signs. Females and males will typically know Pisces as a wise clown, because when the Pisces man isn't being serious giving advice or being distant, he'll be joking around. Lots of jokes, big clown energy. So cool, we've got a soft appearing clown who will typically hide his dark emotions. So when it comes to relationships, depending on the partner's judgment, this puts them in a dangerous position. Because they will see the soft loving clown mask, not knowing it's potentially John Wayne Gacy behind it. Now, another thing is, Pisces men like strong women. Pisces men like challenges and resistance. If you're too easy and too feminine, you may push that fish away. So at least initially, they'll be attracted to women of the fixed signs. Taurus, Leo, Scorpio and Aquarius women. In the end, matured Virgos are the balance a Pisces man typically needs, as they've got a good masculine-feminine balance like Pisces has. But typically, Pisces will go for the fixed sign type of woman. Stubborn, independent, headstrong. Not necessarily tomboys and stuff like that, but a girl's girl with a strong head on her. Astrologers will have you believe these signs will swallow a Pisces man until you see in the real how they can become a matador to a bull, a lion tamer, a snake charmer, and an alien greeter and speaker. Pisces men are like Saiyan men in Dragon Ball. They like strong-willed women, like Bowman Chi-Chi. Not to be dominated by, but to be challenged by, and stand by or behind being support. So this automatically poses a problem, because we have a deceptive fish appearing soft, chasing strong-willed women who are soft inside. If that Pisces man is successful in his chase, which he usually will be because he's a natural hunter, predator, shark, if anything goes wrong and these women get in their masculine energy towards the Pisces man thinking he's soft, do you see where I'm going with this? The Pisces man won't mind you getting loud, they'll want you to have a voice, but it's if you get disrespectful whilst being loud, where the problems will arise. Why the Pisces man will secretly or openly be attracted to headstrong women is because they low-key help him grow. As I mentioned earlier, Pisces knows masculine energy, so will put a lot of their energy into the feminine and may not even know why. And if that's not internally seeking, which usually comes at a later stage, it will be externally seeking a woman to learn this. It's a Venusian trait. Strong-willed women helps Pisces men learn when they must put their feelings to the side because they need to be stern in order to calm these women down. Because all this dark talk aside, Pisces men are the most loving partners you can have. If it's genuine, of course. But these women who are not always on that soft shit, they indirectly teach Pisces men to not be soft if they are soft and to grow a backbone. Or they teach them how to be soft, accept their softness without appearing weak if the Pisces man has trouble being emotional. Fixed sign women can be quite perceptive, with Scorpio women being the most notorious of that set. A Pisces man can feel seen even if they aren't actually being seen. And they're typically loyal once they're locked in too. They're fixed on one partner. So Pisces men subconsciously takes all this into account. It's like cracking a hard rock to get a diamond. Soft lovey-dovey women need to be wary around Pisces men because they like resistance. All that jiggly-puff, wiggly-tough stuff doesn't excite them because they've got all that softness inside themselves already. They've already been kicking the fuck out of their inner jiggly-puff. Pure femininity won't work. They need to come back themselves. The Pisces men who aren't in touch with their shark, aren't masculine at all, and are more feminine in nature are the ones who like soft feminine women from the jump. Those are the guppy fish. Peaceful in La La Land, still creative and everything, but when it comes to relationships, they are doormats. These are the Pisces that can end up getting bullied by their own women. These Pisces men turn soft women hard because the woman's frustrated there's no balance. So they will break the guppy down even further by being the masculine energy they are not. This fish is feelings and nothing but feelings. They still won't fully know themselves, but will understand you and allow you to walk all over them. Cling to you, rely on you. Only your feelings will matter and it will be woe is me for them. Begging you to have compassion and mercy for them if they can't please you. Even worse, the guppy fish will even sometimes go for the most masculine women or get captured by those women who aren't soft inside, like a stereotypical Aries or Sag woman or Gemini, women that are more likely to get physical in a disagreement. These Pisces men are the lower tier of Pisces. Thinking it's your typical Pisces man is what gets people, especially those in relationships with a Pisces man, fucked up. It's sad though, because these fish can get addicted to abusive relationships just because they feel something. Good or bad, they're addicted to the feeling of something. This can happen with every Pisces, to be fair. Love can fuck them up. The typical Pisces man, the shark, not the guppy, will end up really breaking down a woman without a backbone. It has to be said. This is why unless dark-sided or really mature, Pisces men don't go for soft women, and they avoid the ones they detect aren't actually soft inside and are just masculine throughout. Because Pisces men will know they will not hold back if these women want to get physical. To deal with a typical Pisces man, you need some oomph in you, but be able to be soft too, because the true fish man is not really soft. That's just one side of him. This all ties in with the Pisces man's upbringing and how they are going to process these feminine energies as they grow. The sooner a Pisces man is chasing these toughish women, the better, because there's nothing pretty about a grown Pisces man not knowing what he truly wants or getting broken down by women they misread or because they have no backbone to stand up for themselves. They need a wake-up call with women early in life for healthier results later, because they're a key element in the average Pisces man's life. But overall, Pisces men are the heartbreakers of the zodiac, and their reputation in that area is pretty valid, to be fair. But at the same time, Pisces naturally doesn't want to break anyone's heart, so they can stay with the wrong person for a long time. It also helps if he's got it at home, from young too. Being around tough women isn't just romantic relationships wise. It includes their mother, grandmother, sisters, female cousins, aunties and female friends. Tough love works better for Pisces men than soft love from women. This all helps him regulate his feminine emotions in the long run, if done correctly. Heavy emphasis on if. Tough love, not cruelty. But he'll still need lessons from an external romantic relationship. Platonic relationships are not enough on their own. Virgo women, or women with prominent Virgo placements, give the Pisces man all this in one. Tough love, softness, feminine and masculine energy, and the ability to read Pisces on a human level and develop empathy. That's why it's the most ideal sign overall for Pisces other than another Pisces. Virgos can adapt to Pisces. The two feminine signs go together well. It's like a cosmic scissoring session. The sexually open and the prude. Might not be the most pleasant overall experience for both parties, but necessary lessons will be learned either way. Pisces women would ideally be the best for a Pisces man, but it will more be an overstanding than an understanding of each other, which will lead to issues. Too much water, too much spirits, and a matured Pisces woman can eat a matured Pisces man up. The femme fatale will be a bit of a problem for the silent assassin. Anyone can be with anyone. Don't take this as gospel if you're with a non-typical compatible sign. Get to know people for people. But the Pisces man especially can be with any woman star sign wise because they go with the flow the best. It just takes work and honesty with oneself. But in general, you'll typically find him with a woman from the fixed signs, for better or worse, with Aquarius woman being his kryptonite out of that set. Now, that's all fine and dandy on the Pisces end, Loverboy Central. They may like and can deal with pain, whatever. However, if the typical shark Pisces man has a partner that likes to argue, is toxic, the more aggressive confrontational type, like an Aries woman or Gemini woman, they may get handsy with their Pisces man in frustration of the Pisces not arguing back. And this is very dangerous territory. Again, I'm speaking stereotypically because not every Aries and Gemini woman are like that. But stereotypically, they will swing on you. Especially an Aries woman in her element, she will swing on a man. And Gemini women can really be a threat to a Pisces man in multiple ways. But with Pisces men, remember it's deep hidden emotions. There's no set time on when he'll fully adapt to the feminine Piscean traits, especially if in denial, and even when he's accepted it. He's still a chameleon. And you as the complaining partner, you may mistake your Pisces man for a sack of water balloons, not knowing you're making yourself a target. You ever wondered why that woman started selling shells by the sea? She sells seashells by the seashore. Cause she was at sea with a Pisces and didn't like what she saw and got the fuck out of there. It's very dangerous to underestimate a Pisces man, and it's very easy to do. You can't force a Pisces man to argue with you. It'll be like shouting at a brick wall. But this is where you may start seeing that brick wall as a rubber wall and may start hitting. I'll tell you from now, a Pisces man will be more likely to hit you back than argue back with you if they don't walk away. It will be more likely for an Aries man to argue back with you than a Pisces man. You see how that works when one's feminine and the other's masculine? Even with all that feminine energy floating around in Pisces, when it comes to deep, dark feelings, Pisces males are not verbal. They are doers. So your lash out will 99% activate those genderless hands in the Pisces man, and it will be then you realize why your Pisces man don't want to argue with you. And you may have to run when you realize he's actually a... You will sense that energy in him in that moment. All Pisces men give you that same look. It's initially to warn you. What will alternate this is if he has love in his heart and love towards you. Even when angry, you may just see the dreaminess. If he has hate in his heart but love for you, which can be a very typical Pisces man's experience, then you'll get a little hint he may be dangerous if you were previously unaware. But if he has hate in his heart and hate towards you, then you're gonna see the devil in his eyes. I don't even call it hate with Pisces, I call it annihilate, because Pisces does something with hate. They don't sit on it or with it. Pisces men that are straight dark-sided will fight women. Forget the physical damage. The psychological abuse alone can be extremely damaging to women because he knows you to your core and knows exactly how to wind you up and affect your whole nervous system. But when they're acting non-confrontational and you're being confrontational and aggressive and make them feel feminine in any way, even if you cuss him out for not arguing, saying something that plays on an insecurity you either peeped or took a shot in the dark at, your Pisces man will show you the monster he is hiding. And as I said, the guppy fish and the shark fish may appear the same, because Pisces in general is silent. So thinking he's the guppy when he's the shark, putting your hands on a Pisces male thinking he's soft opens up a whole nother window where you'll see those two energies, those two fish combine, where a Pisces man will cuss you out like a woman whilst you up like a man. And once Pisces starts, they don't stop. If there's no one around to break it up and a Pisces man has unleashed, it's only going to end one way. Even if they're sorry and remorseful afterwards, you may not be around to even hear it. Seriously, if it's like you and your Pisces male partner living together, don't open up that door for that for your own sake. Because once a Pisces head goes, it completely goes, where they may even take you and them out of this realm. Especially if you're starting your bullshit with a Pisces man in an isolated environment, like your home. Or if you start it in public while you're both on the way home. Pisces males are the masters of isolated environments in more ways than one, and at hiding their feelings, and at extreme levels, hiding bodies. They are dangerous men, silent assassins, who just want to love, but at toxic levels, they can threaten you and even you two's kids if they're of age. They are not people you play silly games with, because they will read while you're playing the game, like you're starting an argument to shake the relationship up a bit. Because maybe it's gone stale lately, so you want to inject some passion, have a heated argument, then have some great makeup sex. Pisces men aren't those guys. Go and find an Aries man for things like that. The last thing a Pisces man will want to do is fuck you if you've pissed them off for no valid reason, but also understand why you did it. They'll want to get away from you than get closer to you. Why so many women don't get why their Pisces man swam away is beyond me, when all they have done is read your true intentions and acted accordingly. They've acted on your feelings. Pisces isn't gonna play with you. Passive aggressive? What passive aggressive? They won't sit around you soaking. They're not cancers. They'll leave and go be alone, or go to their side piece's house who cooks better than you. But if they can't easily get away from you, then hey, if they're silent and don't want to communicate, they're not trying to submit you into apologizing. They literally just want you to fuck off for a moment, so they can regulate their feelings before it gets out of hand. It's not silent treatment, it's fuck off please. It's D&D. You won't have a clue what they are stopping themselves from doing. They are controlling a storm inside, especially if you were insultive. It looks immature, but they are being as mature as it can get by not responding. They won't give a fuck how you feel in that moment, unfortunately. Empathy gets shut down. Preservation glacier gets activated. Pisces don't play mind games with loved ones when they're mad. They don't want any interaction with you whatsoever. Don't gaslight with the communication is key stuff if you started it. Just genuinely apologize if you want to, and the Pisces man will chat to you when his head is clear. If he doesn't, just swim away. Pisces men are always one step away from going ballistic in general, so don't unnecessarily tap on the glass, cause fish are sensitive. And I'm not talking like Pisces men will overreact to little stuff, like you ask them to wash their feet cause it stinks or some shit like that. I'm talking the tone in your voice and the intent in your argument. That's what the Pisces man will pick up on. And if that's not coming from a place of love and care, then it's gonna be a problem. This is including if it's a Pisces man that's at full maturity, in touch with his feminine side. These men will have too much of an understanding to be pulled into silly arguments. They won't actually argue with you, cause positively being in touch with their feminine side doesn't actually make them feminine. It just gives them more options and a 3D perspective of everything. This is just a warning if you've got a Pisces boyfriend, husband. Know who you're dealing with, cause it's very easy to get the Pisces man twisted. Even if you're with a guppy, they may turn one day. But if you get the slightest sense your Pisces man can be dangerous, don't try to test it out, cause that sense isn't wrong. You've picked up on their shark, and that's where fixed sign women will put themselves in danger, when they sense and start poking. Emotional men are dangerous. Sometimes you will know from the start he's dangerous, depending on his lifestyle. Like it's obvious what he does type of thing, or what he's about. These Pisces men find it much easier opening up when in love and showing their range of emotion, which can still be toxic, because they may not fully understand their feelings or feminine side or women. They've just got feelings to share. This is when Pisces men can resemble Cancer men, like over emotional, but they're still kind of like bad boys. But it's the Pisces guys that live an ordinary or hidden life, who loves women but has hidden feelings, is where the problem lies for others, because you can't read them. You won't know them unless they show you. It's all fun and games, words and hearsay until it's your reality. Pisces men can really store negative energy for an appropriate time. And if they don't unleash the anger they have built up from you on you, they can go and violently take it out on someone else. Pisces men are not bullies, they're killers. You see how Cancer men and women are big passion killers, uncontrolled emotions, heat of the moment madness. Pisces are coming from that lesson. Why do you think Pisces, even the sharks, are quiet and take longer to react? Do you see the reputation Scorpio men have? They can beat the out of their women for almost nothing sometimes. They are the most emotional men of all, as they get stuck in their feelings. Pisces are coming from that lesson. Why do you think Pisces, even the sharks, are quiet and take longer to react? I don't condone none of this, by the way. My tactic has always been to just leave before it gets heated. But I'm just trying to keep it real. Everyone should just keep their hands to themselves. Just because you're a woman doesn't mean a full closed fist won't hurt a man. Or a stinging slap won't hurt a man. Even a kid hitting a grown-up in the face will hurt. So know what you're doing if you go there. Just be careful, ladies, especially with water sign men. They are high-key and low-key in their feelings, especially when in relationships just like you, whether they show it or not. With Pisces though, it doesn't always have to get physical. A Pisces male may just deal with you verbally, and from a Pisces can get verbal, they have harnessed that feminine energy but gonna use it in a negative way. They're gonna know all about emotions, empathy, and know all about you. So what they say to you will be so character assassinating that it may trigger a physical response from you. So not only do you get verbally bitten with words that you will remember for the rest of your life, the Pisces man can then put in some serious physical damage on top of it in response to you hitting them. Like, you will literally learn why Pisces men are not typically up for arguing, especially with women. And that could be the last lesson you ever learn. So do you see the trick? Pisces men are all about tricks, magic tricks. But the trick here in relationships, Pisces men need or would like a strong woman, as it helps them understand their feminine ways, because it causes them to be the soft one trying to get the woman to be soft, so they indirectly learn. But equally, these are the women that will test the Pisces for his softness. It's hard, but keep this in mind when Pisces doesn't react to you if you're in a personal relationship with one. You will fall for the illusion they present as a standard. Pisces is not a sign that you keep poking to open up. You don't wind up a Pisces man. Because it's not Jack in the box that will jump out on you to playfully scare you. It's killer clown in the box. It's shark in the box. And once it's let out, things get eaten. And if not eaten, painfully bitten where repair is not possible. It's very easy for a Pisces man to hurt you. And they are aware of it too. Hence why they stay quiet. And yes, if you touch a Pisces man's partner, whether you're male or female, he'll beat the out of you too. Light or dark, it don't matter. Touch the shark's queen and get shocked. Pisces men are those guys that will jump in if his girl's getting beaten up, even if it's a fair fight with another girl. If you bully a Pisces man's kids, Lord knows what they can end up doing in retaliation. It's good saying peace and love until war is brought upon those the Pisces loves. The Grim Reaper will make an appearance. The general consensus you'll get on Pisces males is that they're evil. And sometimes they are. Evil's within every Pisces as well as good. Evil's within everyone. But sometimes it's because they've had enough of someone taking advantage and retaliated. And still end up with the same bad reputation Pisces men get overall, whether instigating or retaliating. They get called cowardly, weak, violent, cheating fuckboys. Pisces are known as the biggest fuckboys because they can sweet you up to the point that you think they're too sweet to even be capable of hurting you. Not knowing who you are dealing with and how they really feel inside. When someone gets stung by this soft appearing warlock, the damage and the view of men can be irreparable. For not getting with a Pisces man again, you might not even want to get with any other person ever again. You don't even try out being with a woman either, because the Pisces man was already giving you part feminine energy. so you just get tired of dating anybody ever again. When a Pisces man uses his feminine energy, he gets what he wants, and getting it is not hard whatsoever. The same way women who are aware of their own feminine power can get anything they want from men. You won't even realize when the Pisces man has taken it from you, and when you do, it will be too late. He's already gone, if not physically, then at least mentally. Pisces men are masters at ghosting, and there's nothing worse than someone sweeting you up and leaving you out of nowhere, on a high note too. And sometimes Pisces will purposely sweet you up knowing they're gonna leave, just so it don't hurt you too much when they do. Without deepening, it actually makes things worse. It really depends on the spiritual state the Pisces man you're dealing with is at, cause he'll be making you soft when he himself don't typically like soft women. Soft and clingy women is not for him, cause he's naturally a lone wolf. This is a sign that is fully capable of escaping prisons, so believe if they want to get out of a trapped feeling, they 100% can and will. The same way women who want their guy to be soft ends up getting the ick if they get him too soft, Pisces men work the same way with women. Pisces men can be everything you want them to be, and when you got a sign that is downloading you, aka learning everything about you by default, you'll see why it's extremely easy for a Pisces to give you everything you want and be everything you want. But take note, none of that has included what the Pisces actually wants, and that is what is overlooked very often with the Pisces man. What does he really want from you? How does he really feel? Do you even ask him? The clown's there giving you jokes and entertaining you, but do you know what the clown really wants, or what the clown really thinks? The Joker can make you laugh all day without you realizing they're the Joker. The Pisces man singing and dancing fucking around, but what tune is he really dancing to? You don't even know how much of your boundaries are being tested around this Joker. They are not only making you laugh, but they are reading and studying you down to your core. This is why Pisces men and Virgo men are the worst when they turn in relationships. When the signs of service start serving you dishes you don't like, you won't like. Pisces men make dark appear light, but there is nothing pretty about what goes on inside the Pisces man. A Pisces man will have you in your feelings so much, you even forget he has feelings too, unless he's a really immature Pisces. As I said, immature Pisces can be like cancer males, moaners, crybabies to an extent. In other words, they will verbally express their feelings, all their feelings. But the Pisces man in general will always place so much focus on you that you won't even consider diving deep behind the clown face the Pisces shows you. I can't elaborate enough how easily Pisces men do this. Pisces is the masters of illusion without even trying. They will show you a mirror, the mirror they are. That's how they stay hidden. And in worst case scenarios, you get bitten. One last thing on relationships. If you're with a Pisces man and he's found himself, then expect him to have female friends and respect it if that's how you met him. Don't come in and start dividing and conquering and isolating the Pisces man, cause he may allow you to do it whilst love is initially clouding him. But in the long run, you will regret it, cause that's not acts of true love. That's acts of jealousy, possessiveness and selfishness. Yes, it can be annoying. You're laid up with your Pisces man and a woman is calling him for advice, but it's where you will have to have trust, cause the Pisces man is here for everybody. However, naturally, they'll end up decreasing the intensity of their service to others to devote more time to you anyways. So don't force it. If you're the one, you will get that number one spot naturally, especially with Pisces men. But also your feelings will be valid towards other women. Cause although Pisces men are good at chasing and capturing women, right, that sounds kind of mad. Chasing and capturing women to have loving and consensual relationships with, a Pisces man can miss cues when a woman is coming onto him cause he's not used to it, especially if he's just genuinely being there for her. So if a female friend wants to sabotage your relationship and tries it on your Pisces man, she may can catch him off guard in the moment. All feminine stuff aside, this is a full-blooded male with a big pair of nuts, so you'll just have to trust he does the right thing if that's ever the case. Cause temptation follows the Pisces man, and unfortunately, he may have it for every woman until he internally learns to not be such a slut. So you just have to trust he's one of them. Don't be nagging and whining and warning 24/7 dropping ultimatums cause he'll swim away. Just don't force it by telling him to shut off all his female friends or male friends too, Because strong women can do that, or weak appearing women with an agenda can do that. But you won't like that fish you isolated in the long run when he realizes it was done out of control and nothing to do with love and just always wanting to spend time together. Because it's not cute, and then you'll meet the poltergeist. And if you yourself clock your Pisces man is shutting off all his people in the earlies of you two getting together to spend all his time with you only, you will not like that, because his ocean's gonna drown you and isolate you too. When your Pisces man is clingy like a Cancerian, it's not a good thing, because it means he isn't doing all the behind the scenes energy shifting stuff he needs to be doing in isolation, like a true and healthy Pisces. So who's gonna end up receiving all that unprocessed energy? The good and the bad? Yes, you. So be cautious with the loving killer clown. Zeus and Poseidon. Pisces is ruled by two planets in astrology. The traditional ruler is Jupiter, the modern day ruler is Neptune, and Venus is the planet that is exalted in Pisces, meaning it loves to be in Pisces. Now, I've broken down these planets in other videos. To sum it up, many of Pisces' traits will be traits of these three planets combined. In other readings, these planets have like equivalents. They're technically not connected, but connections can be made. So in mythology, Greek, Roman and all of that, Jupiter is Zeus, Neptune is Poseidon, Venus is Aphrodite. So let's go through Zeus and Poseidon and make connections to further understand the Pisces man. So let's start with Zeus. Who was Zeus? So from Google, Zeus is the god of the sky in ancient Greek mythology. As the chief Greek deity, Zeus is considered the ruler, protector, and father of all gods and humans. Zeus is often depicted as an older man with a beard and is represented by symbols such as the lightning bolt and the eagle. So this is an archetype that rules the sign Pisces, the father of all gods and humans. Pisces is the spirit in the flesh amongst humans. Pisces are the protectors of the zodiac wheel and the conglomeration of all signs. Zeus is depicted as an older man. Pisces is the last sign of the zodiac and known as the oldest soul. So what was Zeus's personality like? Zeus had many mortal lovers. His main characteristics were that he was powerful, unfaithful, disciplined, and sometimes cruel. Now remember, Zeus is Jupiter. Jupiter rules two signs, Sagittarius and Pisces. In my personal experience, I'll confidently say Sagittarius men are the biggest cheaters in the zodiac, if they're cheating. The biggest womanizers. But Pisces have big reputation for being unfaithful too, which is also true. Even though Aries are the first masculine sign, Sagittarius men are the most masculine men overall. The eldest fire sign, ruled solely by Jupiter, and Pisces is the most feminine sign, the eldest water sign, with Neptune, Jupiter and Venus. So in Pisces men, you get big masculine and feminine energy with more of an understanding of women, so it's more emotionally driven than just sexual relations. Emotions will more than likely be involved with Pisces unless they're dark. But this means Pisces can love more than one woman at a time. Or should I say be infatuated with more than one at a time. Jupiter just makes both signs have an awareness of the abundance of women out there. Like, how can you only stick with one when there's millions? But it's a Venusian trick for Pisces and they only end up cheating themselves in the end. It's if they clock it beforehand or don't. Don't get me wrong, Pisces men have the ability to be the most loyal, but depending on that Pisces spiritual maturity, those plenty more fish in the sea will be all a Pisces sees. Another pattern I've noticed with the Jupiterian signs, Pisces and Sagittarius, they're both mummy's boys. The irony, the biggest cheaters are mummy's boys, unless they've had issues with their mum. But with Pisces it can also stem from if they had a harsh dad, a harsh father. As I said, masculine energy, domineering energy can really bring out the worst in a Pisces. And the other Jupiterian sign, Cancer, with Jupiter being exalted in the sign, are the mummiest boys of all. But the moon makes Cancer men much more homely. Still cheaters, but homely. Pisces men are like Cancer men if they're healing themselves and internally exploring. If not, they're outside like Sagittarius men, exploring. Pisces and Sag get about with similar ideologies in general, but with all the exploring and gallivanting Pisces and Sag men do, there's no place like home, eh? Pisces men loves women, loves women and sex, even more than they let on. You will know when you meet a true Pisces man, cause he's a gallus. Even Albert Einstein and his mad scientist self was cheating, shooting his milk everywhere. Even Richard Ramirez was in the courtroom entertaining the honeys that came to see him. Ask a typical Pisces man if he's a breast man, or an arse man, or a face man, or a leg man, or a feet man, and you know what he'd reply? Yes. Don't even make sense, just yes. I'm every man. Gilf, MILF, chocolate, caramel, milk. Pisces men wants it all. And Jupiter brings an expansive nature to both Pisces and Sagittarius, so it's not hard to see where it could lead to with women and with life. The dark sides of all this heavily fucking around with women shit is where you can get Pisces men like Hunter Moore, nicknamed the most hated man on the internet. From Google, he created the revenge porn website Is Anyone Up, which allowed users to post sexually explicit photos of people online without their consent, often accompanied by personal information such as their name and address. He refused to take down pictures on requests. Hunter Moore called himself a professional life ruiner and compared himself to Charles Manson. See, that's the dark side of the ocean shit with Manson being a Scorpio. On the good side, the Pisces man has the benefit of having Neptune alongside Jupiter, which enables Pisces to discover the true meaning of love for all, and with empathy. It allows Pisces to explore internally, not just externally, like Sag. Pisces will not cheat on someone they truly love. Mistakes happen, but when deep in love, a Pisces man will be flaky and avoidant towards any situation where potential cheating could happen. Yeah, Pisces will check out this beauty and that booty, cause they like shiny things. But as soon as they realize inside that person isn't shiny too, they start feeling to run. Cause it's a beautiful soul that keeps a Pisces man in the long run, not a beautiful face or itty bitty waist. It helps, but we all age and not everyone's youthful beauty carries on into old age. Venus is here to teach Pisces a big lesson. Don't be fooled by the makeup, the filters, the fillers, cause the natural form of woman is probably hairier than us men. Stay woke, fellas. Neptune is what lifts the rose tints off the Pisces man's eyes and allows Pisces to put it back on when needed and put the rose tints on others too. You can't conquer with love without understanding it first. This is what makes Pisces men big charmers too. If Pisces was just Jupiter and Venus, they will be walking STDs. And another thing, don't cheat on a Pisces man if you're with one. Just leave him beforehand, cause you will meet the dark side of love, aka Venus. Every Pisces man can potentially do a Carlo Giswaldo, and I am not joking. Too much deep emotions will be involved. Back to Zeus. Zeus was disciplined. This is one thing non-Pisces may not know about Pisces, but it ties in with the Pisces' addictive nature and obsessions. When Pisces is obsessive, they are so dedicated to their obsession that they become disciplined in acting on or obsessing over that obsession until they actually become one with it. Pisces can manifest so many things into their life this way, subconsciously, but also consciously. Discipline is the highest form of self-love. That's Capricorn's strong point. The final cardinal sign with Aries being the first. Clock the pattern with the cardinal signs and it starts to make sense. Pisces men's discipline isn't like Capricorn's where it's linear and strict. Pisces is like swimming freely, then finding something shiny, then obsessing over it. If the Pisces man says to himself, every day at 4 p.m, I'm going to that area of the ocean to obsess over that shiny thing, Pisces is 100% doing that every day at that time until they either get bored or the shiny thing disappears. Pisces will become so obsessive that they make an effort to incorporate time into their obsession. That's how serious it gets when time generally doesn't exist to Pisces. And finally, Zeus was cruel. Zeus was a god that knew he was a god and knew the difference between himself and regular humans and had no pity for them. Pisces and Aquarius are two signs that can have a god complex, but it's from a realization that their thinking is on a whole nother level to the rest. On a realizing where all sheeps think, but no one else is listening type of thing. But it's impossible for a matured Pisces to see themselves above anyone else after realizing everyone is one. I've explained what can make a Pisces man turn earlier, but other things is like making the Pisces man feel trapped, being cruel to them, bullying the weaker in front of them, misunderstanding the Pisces. The dark side of Pisces comes from a mishandling of their own internal emotions, their environment, and external spiritual entities of vengeance. Pisces men aren't cruel. Pisces men are straight up evil when they're ready. A dark Pisces man, a Pisces man who has chosen to swim with the dark fish and has lost faith in humanity, is the Grim Reaper. Picture the Reaper gliding across a dark, stormy yet misty ocean. That's the angel of death. Death is alive in that Pisces. You will see the most soulful sign Pisces move soulless. This is where you meet the Charles Collins. And if you don't know about this dark fish, then do your research. That's a Pisces swimming in the 12th house, bringing death to those who enter there, in hospitals. 9 different hospitals. And not even bringing death to those dying. Charles Collins was bringing death to those recovering, under his trust, whilst helpless as the Pisces took real good care of them. Up to 400 people. That's how dark the Pisces man can get. So from Zeus comparisons, you can see a link with Pisces and Sagittarius traits. Let's look at Poseidon. Who was Poseidon? Well, first off, Poseidon was Zeus's brother. From Google, Poseidon was the god of the sea, earthquakes, storms, and horses. He is considered one of the most bad-tempered, moody, and greedy Olympian gods. So Poseidon was the god of the sea. Easy connection there, as Pisces is the final water sign and ruler of the ocean. Neptune represents the universal ocean. He is considered one of the most bad-tempered, moody, and greedy Olympian gods. Now, I've spoken about Pisces temper in other videos. Do Pisces men have a bad temper? You bet your ass they do. Pisces anger is so bad, they turn cold. What they do with that feeling, if they choose to go there, will resemble a storm, a plague that will spread. As I've mentioned many times, Pisces men are known serial killers, shooters. Poseidon was moody. That's self-explanatory with Pisces feelings. Pisces men are like optimistic, loved up emos. Makes no sense. And Poseidon was greedy. Now, Pisces being greedy is something only people who really dealt with Pisces will know about. But this is a dark side. Pisces men are some of the greediest men you will ever meet if they're dark-sided or have both feet on the ground, because they will be extremely obsessive and materialistic, from robbery to gambling to just working for it, in that order. A dark-sided Pisces man can smile in your face while his hand's in your pocket, and you won't even know you've been robbed. In general, Pisces men are hustlers, natural hustlers, salesmen, can sell anything to anyone, but when they want to cut corners, they will cut corners and will more than likely outsmart you, leaving enough time to get away with it. The current or recent richest person in the world is not a Pisces man for no reason, and love for people alone doesn't get you there in the material world. Pisces men will play real life Monopoly. Pisces men can be successful business owners and property investors in the legal and illegal world. It's to be expected when they take control of their dreams. I'll go on about Capricorn and how they stay sitting at the top of the world, the devil with Saturn and all that, so you can just imagine the depths it has gone to when it's a Pisces doing it. A lot of people will have been consumed on the way. This also makes Pisces men big risk takers under the quiet, especially when it comes to finances and love, funny enough. Charles Ponzi and the Ponzi scheme is an excellent Pisces male example of this. Using a lie to build a multi-million-dollar empire, paying earlier investors using the investments of later investors. At the same time, a Pisces man can be very greedy to be generous. Pisces men can be the type to support their whole neighborhood even when they live a dark life. You need to remember, you won't always see Pisces' dark side. You may hear about it, but when you see the Pisces, he may be very friendly and welcoming. Those close can know this Pisces man sharks people at night, but buys the kids on the block ice cream in the day. It's that double life thing. But with any successful Pisces man, greed will be there. It kind of has to be there. Even when it comes to women, it don't matter if there's enough women for every man in the place. Pisces men will want to be the only male there, and you'll be surprised what a Pisces will do to others behind the scenes to make sure that's the case. There's a territorial thing when it comes to Pisces women and other men, and that includes family members of the Pisces males too. Females around Pisces men who are in a Pisces male's ocean are well protected unless the Pisces is lost. Pisces males will protect females they know as if they are their dad, their granddad. That extends to strangers who are females too but in danger. They'll protect their boys and maybe random men in need too, but there's an overprotection with females, especially if genuine tears has been shed. This touches a Pisces man in indescribable ways, where they will take and reflect that on whoever caused their loved ones to cry. They get greedy with them where, if another man comes in the picture, the Pisces will low-key have a big say on how that pans out. Cancers do this similar thing too. They'll let the female know if this man's good for them or not. And this could be your Pisces male friend, but he's moving like he's your big brother, protective uncle, dad or granddad. This extends to their kids. Pisces men are daddy's girl dads. A Pisces man will ride out for his females, the women in his ocean, in a heartbeat without announcement too. Which is funny, cause a Pisces man can lose many relationships with female companions from defending them. Yeah, I said that correct. So discernment is key, and not everyone wants the truth or protecting. But as I said earlier, Pisces men are natural hitmen for situations like this. Natural. Armed and dangerous is an understatement. Maybe it's a reflection of their inner femininity that they stay protecting like a Cancerian. Plus Pisces men knows how dark masculine energy can get, cause they got it within them too and use it themselves. Greed, violence, cold-blooded this is nothing foreign to a Pisces male's nature. Even if you see the shark thing coming your way, it's already too late. Always remember you are dealing with a shark. When sharks come to eat, they eat then leave. They don't care if you've got yours too. Pisces men has to learn to hone in on empathy. They aren't born transcended. They are here to transcend, but also have the power to do the utmost damage here. But greed is definitely a secret and sometimes obvious Pisces trait, especially when their foot's on the ground here on Earth and need to survive, cause they tap into Taurian energy. Let's get more on Poseidon. His vengeance when insulted was also legendary. Poseidon had a very violent character, impulsive and hot-blooded. He couldn't put up with Zeus's arrogant behavior as a ruler, so he teamed up with Hera and Athena to teach him a lesson. However, with the help of Thetis and Briareus, Zeus overpowered his challengers. So Poseidon had a very violent character, impulsive and hot-blooded. If you've never met a violent Pisces in your life, then it's probably for the best. It's not something you have to witness. But don't be fooled by the average descriptions of Pisces. The vengeance, the violence is rife in the sign. And many people other than Pisces can tell you the same thing about Pisces through experience. Cold-blooded sharks, killer clowns, silent sensitive males. You can catch a Pisces man being the clown in their group, dancing around, making jokes, but make no mistake, that Pisces man will eliminate you and others for all those people he's entertaining in his ocean. You can confuse many Pisces men for Aries, but Pisces isn't impulsive. After their feelings go from 0 to 100, it's followed by coldness, which allows for plotting. And when the Pisces man catches you in this mode, they are gonna savage you. Back to Poseidon. He couldn't put up with Zeus's arrogant behavior as a ruler, so he teamed up with Hera and Athena to teach him a lesson. So he went to war with his own brother and failed. With Pisces, no one can be above Pisces than God himself, or the creator. If a Pisces man is playing the role of being under someone, then the Pisces is likely a boss himself in his own right. Pisces are support systems, but they are not anybody's slave. If Pisces don't fuck with the rulership of anything, they will at least attempt to bring an end to it. And that's what I mentioned when describing the Capricorn to Pisces progression at the end of the zodiac. It tells a story. So that's two archetypes of Pisces rulers who were brothers and fought with one another. Two mighty gods. One's a womanizer and the other's a violent hothead, and they're linked to each other being brothers. Sounds familiar? Poseidon doesn't fully connect with the Neptune planet because Neptune is about deceptions, illusions, spiritual enlightenment, and universal love, while Poseidon was just straight smoke as far as I can tell. But it's all relative. The Jupiter signs Pisces and Sagittarius are predators, they're hunters, and there's levels to that. And you'll find Pisces men at the lowest level feasting, dark-sided ones. That's what's behind all that sweet pretty boy soft shit. A predator appearing as prey with eyes on prey and other predators. The results can be catastrophic and inhumane, like Mikhail Popkov, known as the werewolf, convicted for crimes committed on 83 girls and women over a span of nearly 20 years. That's ridiculous. Pisces is a tapped sign overall. So come knocking and find out. You'll be alarmed what you wake up, what comes out of the ocean. Or be careful, cause some Pisces men are really lurking. As I say in all these videos, there's a crazy level of darkness a Pisces deals with quite often, which will not even cross your mind from how they look or present themselves, and that's how others get trapped. Stuck on the web, cause nothing flies past a Pisces. Even if you know that Pisces man is dangerous, you won't actually know how dangerous they are until they show you, and you don't actually want them to show you. Pisces men, matured Pisces men, are real men going through real shit. The Pisces man will shed a tear sometimes when alone, cause they feel alone in this war zone. They will cry the same way soldiers cry, but they are wolves that have to keep marching on. They are spiritual soldiers who have duties. So Pisces men can be extremely violent people in general. Pisces women can be extremely violent people too, which I'll cover in their video. Pisces people are not about starting wars or having wars or outstanding conflicts. Pisces is obliteration. Pisces isn't really no ticking time bomb. It's a fucking nuke. A tsunami. Survivors are not expected when currents change in the Pisces man's waters. More times than not, the Pisces man is choosing not to swim with those waves. But when they become one with it and swim with it, nothing's left behind. Absolutely nothing. Fishes eat other fishes and people. And sometimes there's no difference between hunger and evil. The lights go out and I can't be saved. Tides that I tried to swim against. Now shut your ass up, put your seatbelts back on and make sure that aisle was clear. We'll be arriving at our destination shortly.